sound better than echo.
No sound is better than echo. Echo is the worst. Echo's the worst. All right, so we're back at 6 o'clock. We tried 7 o'clock, and we got about half as many viewers as we did at 6 o'clock. So I was like, all right, well, let's just keep it at 6. And audio is on. Thank you, Binary Recoil. Thank you guys for alerting me to that problem. I still am terrible at this. It's actually really hard to manage this and to do the show at the same time, but we'll manage. We'll figure it out.
Well, I just want to say that that I'm wearing the same shirt. It's just a coincidence. It doesn't mean that I have just one shirt. I have tons of stuff.
We're not as rich as Donald Trump. My version of Melania can't afford to wear a different outfit literally every single day. Although I should fix that. For some reason the title for this video didn't change right. It's the same title as we had last time, which is wrong. This should be March 1st. I don't know why that didn't change. Okay, so let's change that. 3/1. I know this is real exciting for you guys. All right, so should we start the show?
Well, 11 people, I think we should.
11 whole people. Hello, 11 people. You guys are awesome. All right, well, let me...
Do we just start now, or you have some kind of opening thing that you want to say?
Oh, I have opening things I want to say. So, I would like to begin the show by telling you guys a joke. And this joke is something I wrote on Twitter, and I'm quite proud of it. The joke is this. If masculinity is so toxic, why are so many feminists so damn masculine? I kind of messed it up, but that's the joke. Yeah. You guys can all applaud.
And toxic.
I think that was good. Okay. I would also like to say, disclaimer, we here at Toxic Masculinity, we care about diversity. It's important to us. And that's why... Hold on, I've written this down. All right. That's why, to be clear, Valeria here, 0 qualifications, all right, no talent, and a bit of an idiot. And yet we hired her. You know why? Because she's a woman. Isn't that right, Valeria?
Not just a woman, minority, because I'm a 1% Jew.
Yeah, we did the Ancestry.com, found out she's 1% Jewish. So
well, it was a 0.3 first when I got the results, and like 6 months later they sent me an email. We have an update for you. Now you're 1%.
It seems to vacillate between 0.02% and 1% or something. But so no anti-Semitic comments, please. I've noticed there's a lot of anti-Semitic stuff floating around in my comment section. I grew up in Oregon. We didn't have any Jewish people, so anti-Semitism is something that is like completely alien to me. I don't understand it.
My friend Elena wrote, "Still not deserve $2 for super chat."
Well, we are monetized now, which is fantastic. Although I don't think the super chat is available. I don't know. You guys could tell me because I'm not on that end of it. I don't know. But without further ado, I have a show opening. Shall we do the intro? Shall we do the intro? Let's do the intro, shall we? Let's do it. Oh, yeah. Toxic masculinity. All right. So, the news of the day. Valeria, please.
Yes.
Headline number 1.
Hollywood foreign press isn't black enough.
Yeah, that's right. By the way, guys, today's episode is fantastic. There was a lot of hilarious news over the weekend, and I'm just thrilled to share it with you. So let's go and switch to the desktop. Now I've got to change this here real quick. Give me 1 second. Chrome, there we go. All right, so this is Tina Fey and the other chick from Parks and Rec. I forget her name. Anyway, they hosted the Golden Globes, and they basically said, we need more black people. So I guess like the LA Times or somebody posted a story, or they reported on this story that nobody at the Hollywood Foreign Press is black, and so they decided that they had to lecture the Hollywood Foreign Press, which hosts the Golden Globes. You shouldn't be just not black. You know, you got to have more black people. So let's go ahead and play that. I've got to make sure that the...
I don't think it's like black people trying to get into this area. And they're like, no, 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 no. We don't hire black people.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Maybe,
that's
maybe,
obviously not.
maybe there is not enough black
well, let's
people
listen to them
coming.
talk and then let's comment because I want you guys to hear this. This is pretty funny.
Oh, you know, this is probably something we should have told you guys earlier. Everybody is understandably upset at the HFPA and their choices. Look, a lot of flashy garbage got nominated, but that happens, okay? That's like their thing. But a number of black actors and black-led projects were overlooked.
And look, we all know that award shows are stupid.
Yeah. They're all a scam invented by Big Red Carpet.
To sell more carpet.
We know that.
The point is, even with stupid things, inclusivity is important, and there are no black members of the Hollywood Foreign Press. I realize HFPA, maybe you guys didn't get the memo because your workplace is the back booth of a French McDonald's, but you got to change that. So here's to changing it.
Yes, and looking forward to that change. We do have some good news. We are raising money tonight.
All right, so that was the you got to change that. You got to stop being so white. Now, I don't know how white the Hollywood Foreign Press is, but here's my take on it because I'm not 100% sure what's going on over there at the Hollywood Foreign Press, but I do know this. I live in LA. I know a lot of people in Hollywood, and they're not racist.
Oh no, they're the opposite.
They're
the
super
opposite.
diversity plus, anti-race. They're really racist against white people and men. Really, I mean, they're bigoted against those two groups.
That's true.
So this idea that like they're sort of intentionally keeping black people out or whatever, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. My guess.
They're not even racist against like straight white men. I have a friend. He's white and he is gay, and he was trying to get a cast for a gay, like as an actor. They didn't hire him.
Yeah.
They hired some straight guy who
'cause
was
he's
pretending to
blonde.
be. Yeah, maybe that's the problem.
So okay, so here's what I'm thinking is going on here. The Hollywood Foreign Press, from what I understand, and I don't really know too much about it, it's mainly like British people and other Europeans. And there are black people in Britain for sure, but mostly I would say like Indians or Pakistanis, people like that. But like, despite the fact that Europe is getting more and more diverse through this immigration stuff, Europe doesn't have a ton of diversity still. I mean, it is mostly white people. And the Hollywood Foreign Press, I think, is mostly Europeans. Now, I think there's probably some Asian people in the Hollywood Foreign Press. I don't know for sure. But here's my guess. I doubt there's a lot of Africans from Africa represented in the Hollywood Foreign Press because I just don't think there's like a thriving news media in Africa. I don't think there's like a really well-established international, I've never seen like the Zimbabwe international news as an option. I see France 24. I see DW, which is a German channel, Deutsche Welle. I see, BBC, all kinds of, Sky News. I see Australian Sky News. I see all kinds of like foreign stuff from white countries. I very rarely see any news media, like major news media companies from out of Africa. I just don't think they probably have the money or the size to be able to afford to send people over. Or...
I don't think they can afford it because the only news I can see about Africa, how Africans stealing all of the food from warehouses because they just don't have any food.
Right.
They can't afford food. How they can afford
how are they gonna
press?
Well, I mean, there are some rich Africans. There are some companies in Africa that are, I imagine.
Is it like 1%?
Well, exactly. Yeah. So what Africa is it's a lot of these countries have a dictator, have like a ruling class, and they basically just steal money from the people.
It's basically like Chinese government. Only how much Asians are rich? Like 5%. something
Yeah, I
like
mean, and
this.
also you have, you have Japan, you have Korea, South Korea, you have a variety of Asian countries that do relatively well, Singapore, and they probably have representatives here in America to do news, but it may really just be a problem of they don't have any black people to fill those slots. It's like, I mean, it's basically like saying you need more female engineers, right? That's a big thing that they say. You need more female engineers. Well, if there's not a lot of women trying to be engineers,
Well, you can try to encourage, and you can say we will pay, like government will pay for your education or something like this. You will get stipends. How
stipends, yeah.
stipend,
But these
yeah.
artificial incentives are proven to fail. So what they so okay so this they do this in the Scandinavian countries a lot, because the Scandinavian countries are big on egalitarianism. They really want women to be equal, blacks to be equal, all this kind of stuff. They like equity, not just equality. So they do exactly what you're saying. And what you find is that women in, say, like India go into engineering a lot more than women in the Scandinavian countries. Well, why is that? You'd think that they have more opportunity in the Scandinavian countries, right? But actually, what you find is the people in India, if you're poor or even like lower middle class in India, you have a situation in which you're really desperate for money. And you'll go on. You look like you want to say something.
Indians are good hackers. One time, my Uber account was stolen
But it was
from India.
It was probably a woman.
I don't think so.
Well, but so the point is that in India, if that's your best opportunity to make money for your family, and you're a woman, you're probably going to go into that field, right? It just depends on how much opportunity you have. In the Scandinavian countries, you essentially have infinite opportunity. Basically, anybody in the Scandinavian countries, if they're mildly intelligent, could basically do any job they want for the rest of their lives. They could just go into any field. Now, what you find in these countries where you have all this choice is that the women choose not to go into engineering. And even when you have these big government pushes and they have subsidies for women, you will see a shift. But then once those subsidies end and they stop those programs, it always shifts back. And the reason it shifts back is because women just don't want to be flippant engineers. And honestly, like a lot of the money that goes into these programs to try to force women into these fields they don't necessarily want to go into, how happy are you making them? I actually look at all of feminism like this. I say, if you're a feminist and you demand that women not have babies and not be housewives and not do the typical things that women have done for thousands of years, but rather you go work for a corporation and be CEO and be a politician and try to be, something, some kind of powerful person, you may actually be dooming these women to a life of misery. This is something that Gavin McGinnis talks about this a lot, and he's absolutely right. Like, stop forcing people to do things that are unnatural for them. It's ridiculous.
Oh, it's like you are not forcing me to cook because I don't like cooking.
That's true. I don't force her to cook because she doesn't like cooking. And she appreciates that, don't you,
Oh
darling?
yeah, a lot. Like that's it's just so nice.
But she is an excellent cook, and she does cook occasionally. What's your favorite? You cook this little thing with zucchini, right?
Zucchini. Yeah, it's like an appetizer. Well, your family likes it.
My family loves it. I love it. I'll eat a gazillion pounds of this, but it's very bad for you because it's like very fried. All right, enough about
I like
hilarious...
this comment.
Huh, okay.
Just one comment. Binary recoil.
Yep.
The dollar button is not there on mine yet for super chat, but I'm broke anyway.
That's okay, guys. We don't necessarily want people to have to pay money to chat. The reason super chat is good is because it kind of gives us if you have a lot of people. Now, this probably isn't true for this show, but for my Mr. Reagan show, when I would do a live stream, it was very, very difficult to get to like detect which comments people really wanted me to express and what comments were just people chatting on the chat. And so super chat, if people pay a couple bucks, then I can see, like lights up, and then I'll read it. And it was actually very hard. When I had the Mr. Reagan live streams, there were so many people, I couldn't do all the super chats. It was like, so this will be a little bit easier.
So you even couldn't do the super chats because there was a
It
lot.
was tough. I mean, but I was by myself. Having you, it'll be a little bit easier.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next story.
California Teachers Union president who leads school closure caught dropping daughter off at private school.
Yeah, that's right. Can I just say, by the way, there was more to that to that other story I forgot to say. The Golden Globe story. The Golden Globes apparently has the lowest ratings, I think, in history or something like that. And it's because of all this woke SJW stuff. Like, people don't want to watch award shows anymore. They don't want to get preached at about how
Chris,
we're racist.
people don't even wanna go to those reward show, because one time I worked on the
you had to work on one?
Emmys.
You were working the Emmys?
Emmys, like an extra. They paid so much money to us, like $800 just to be dressed like one of the guests, drinking champagne and stuff.
Right.
They don't even have people just to come there.
Yeah, they have to pay you to come to be seat fillers. I don't know. I think they always do that, though, because they want a specific kind of person to come in. They want to hire beautiful people to come. You don't think so? All right, let's move on to this other story here. All right, it's California. So I have a particular thing. I hate teachers unions, right? I think teachers unions are way too powerful, and I don't think that they are beneficial to the country. I think that they keep bad teachers in their jobs, and I don't think they're helpful to students. I think they are a disaster. So this guy is the head of a teachers union in like the San Francisco, Berkeley area. And he apparently
he's apparently a racist. Is it dreadlocks?
Yeah, he's culturally
Isn't it
appropriating. But actually, what's interesting? They've actually found dreadlocks on like mummies, like mummified bodies.
Well, I knew that the first people who did the dreads was Egyptians.
I think even before Egyptians, but yeah, Egyptians I think had dreadlocks. Some Egyptians, but also I think on the island of like Minos or something like that.
Interesting.
Is that right? Minos, is that a country? Is that a island in near Greece? But anyway, in the areas around Greece and like Crete and that kind of area, I think that there's evidence of dreadlocks. So white people had dreadlocks, or we have evidence of white people wearing dreadlocks, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. So who's culturally appropriating who? I don't know. But anyway, so this guy, he's been caught dropping his daughter off at private school.
Is the private school, are they also wearing masks and sitting in this tiny plastic cages?
Oh, I think it depends on the private school. Different private schools have different requirements.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just read some of this. Viral video footage shows a California teacher union president who led school closures. He led school closures. So he advocated for public schools to be closed, but then he's dropping his own daughter off at private schools. Let's see here. The video was reportedly filmed by Berkeley area parents who did not give their names out of fear of retaliation. See, this is how messed up our system is, because you've got these teacher unions, like, I don't know, authority figure people. I don't know who they are. Anyway, administrators, and they have so much power that parents are afraid to go up against them publicly. It's crazy. Anyway, Berkeley Federation of Teachers president Matt Meyer said the video violated his child's privacy. Oh, I'm so sorry that it violated your child's privacy and was very inappropriate, adding that there is no public option for kids her age, because I think she's like in preschool or something like that. Which I don't think that's probably true. And also, if you're advocating that kids don't, here's the thing. Yeah, obviously preschool kids, what are they going to learn on Zoom? It's just idiotic. But that's also true for kids that are like kindergarten. It's true for kids in first grade, second grade. I mean, like, the older you get, the easier Zoom is, I think, right? So like college age level, I think taking classes online is actually okay.
College actually, I don't mind get some kind of other education than I had in Russia if I would just like a Zoom,
Because when you become an adult, you're lazy. You can sit on the couch for 4 hours taking a class. When you're
I wanna at the same time I wanna work and I wanna get an education. I don't wanna just to get education, not to work, because I love working.
It's better for you in terms of time, in terms of like it's more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But kids don't care about efficiency. Kids want to be active and physical and play.
They want to interact with other kids.
Yeah.
Like
for
socialize.
Kids, it's much harder for adults.
I said that before, that people who advocate for school closure, they don't even have children, or their children already in private schools, like our governor or this teacher union president.
There's a lot of elite people
It's a double
People who
standards.
consider themselves
Double
elitist
standards. I don't understand how people can see that.
in their ivory towers. So there's this term ivory tower. You may not know what this means. So the
Ivory
term,
Tower.
yeah,
I know no.
it's sort of like the concept of that Rapunzel who had like the long hair and she was like in her tower. She was like a princess that was
Okay.
locked in the tower. So it's this idea that rich people in the olden days, they would live in these like, white towers. They used to paint castles white. People think that towers were like gray like we see them. But that's actually because all the paint's chipped off and weathered off. Really, old castles used to all be painted like white. And so the idea that the person's living in their ivory tower, it's basically like us. You know how like we never leave the apartment? Well, I don't. I essentially am an elitist living in an ivory tower because I don't get out and I don't, I try to communicate with the people online, but I barely ever leave this place, which is actually terrible and I hate it and I want to go on vacation, but I'm behind on my work. So anyway, so let's go back to the story. There's really not much to it. This guy's just been dropping his kid off at school, and it's just funny. It's just a funny thing, the hypocrisy of the left, because they know what's actually good for their own children. It's like that guy, the trans guy who's, putting COVID patients into nursing homes, but then he takes his own mom out of them, right? It's like rules for thee, not for me, right? That's the constant thing. They're constantly hypocritical. It's terrible. It's terrible. Leftists are horrible. Teachers' unions are horrible. Let's move on to the next story.
I like this comment that Mark wrote. Ivory Tower is how everyone thinks of Trump.
That is how everybody thinks of Trump. But, it's funny because he's, of all the wealthy people, he's the only one that I can actually talk to regular folks. All right, moving on. Next story. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Minneapolis to hire social media influencers to spread city-approved messages during Derek Chauvin trial.
Oh yeah. I love this story. Here's why I love this story. Social media influencers are supposed to spread city-approved messaging during Derek Chauvin trial. This is in the Daily Wire. Let's read a little bit of this, and I'll tell you why I love it so much. The city of Minneapolis, Minnesota says it's hiring, quote, social media influencers from local minority communities to help facilitate the spread of news and combat, quote, misinformation during Derek Chauvin's trial, reportedly in the hopes that they may head off unrest. Chauvin's trial is set to begin next Monday at 11 a.m., blah, 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 blah. Let's see. The Minneapolis City Council has unanimously approved paying 6 local media influencers to spread city-approved messaging and updates throughout the upcoming murder trial of former officer Derek Chauvin, who has been charged in George Floyd's death. On Friday, the council approved $1,181,000 and $1,500 for communication with the community during the trial. For communication with the community.
Communication with the community.
$1.18 million to communicate with the community.
Communicate with the community.
That is a scam if I ever heard one. Okay. Just $12,000 of that money will go to paying. Well, that's useless. Because I was going to say, but look, $12,000 will go to those social media influencers that, are saying what you want them to say. But I'm Mr. Reagan. I have more reach than they do. So I say, forget those guys. Pay me this $1.18 million, and I'll say whatever you want. Derek Chauvin. Oh, he's awful, that Derek Chauvin. Murderer! No, more likely Derek Chauvin didn't actually kill this guy. It seems like he died of fentanyl overdose, right? That's what it seems like happened, according to the reports that I've read. And yet, this is, they want to make sure they control the narrative. The reason I love this story, the reason I think this is so funny, is because this is precisely what they do in Russia, right? In Russia, they actually hire social media influencers to
Russia, whatever we have election, they pay certain celebrities like huge following to advertise. Go vote for this. I support this.
Right.
But Russia is kind of split, so you can have celebrities who is against current
Sure, you do have celebrities
government.
that
And of course they pay. And actually, some celebrities actually say, "Yeah, they paid me for 100,000 rubles, whatever, for to say that."
really,
Yeah, once
really.
that happened. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is what they'll do in these like authoritarian dictatorships is the
But they
government
don't
will
even
pay
need to
social
pay
media
anybody.
influencers to say
Like,
what they want.
they don't even need to pay in Russia to.
Yeah,
Recently
because there
we
are
had
some
like
people that fought that.
we had a constitution changes, so Putin can be president forever.
Yeah.
You don't even need to like
No.
pay celebrities to say, because you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, you don't need. Well, there is this sense, I think, amongst politicians that you need like the public to approve of you. Even the politicians desperately want the public to like them. In fact, I was watching some Nancy Pelosi stuff the other day, figuring out what I was going to put in my last video, which, by the way, has done terribly. I did this video. It was like I don't know if you guys saw this ad for Jeep with Bruce Springsteen. But it was this ridiculous ad where they're like, now that Joe Biden's president, we need unity. We need unity. And they did this whole thing with Bruce Springsteen as if he's like a cowboy. He's like, I'm a cowboy, y'all, and we need unity now. And, let's all unify under Joe Biden. And it's like, you're a city boy from New Jersey who's like a millionaire rock star, like radical leftist, and you're sitting there pretending to be a Midwest cowboy. Give me a break. So I did this whole like parody ad, which I thought was hilarious, and I thought would definitely get at least a certain. I thought would get more views than like my average video. It's the worst performing video I've produced in like a year. I mean, it's terrible. It's doing terrible. I'm like so upset by it. So if you haven't seen that video, go check that out. But I included some clips of some leftists, including some Pelosi stuff. And I watched this video recently. Pelosi actually says in an interview, public perception is everything. Public perception is everything is what she says. Those are the words she says. Very specific. Public perception is everything. She doesn't care whether she's right or wrong. She doesn't care if what she's doing is going to help the country. She cares about public perception because she knows she has the right public perception. Now, in America, it's even more important because you can get unelected if you don't have public perception on your side. If you don't... She said public perception or public will or something like that.
Public approval?
Yeah, public approval, something like that. She wants the approval
Well,
of the public.
Biden didn't have a public approval.
Shh, we're not allowed to talk about that.
For YouTube, for monetization, Biden won. Election was fair.
Biden won.
Everything
it was totally
fair.
It was totally fair. Actually, on the planet of Turth, they actually had a problem with the president, a guy who's now president called Bo Jiden.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually stole the election from a guy named Donaldus Trumpius. Donaldus Trumpius was running there. And Donaldus Trumpius actually got more votes, but they did a little shim-sham. But here on Earth, Joe Biden won. Don't demonetize us.
Please.
Okay, so... Oh, I didn't have it on me. You couldn't see my hilarious face. Okay, so you can't tell I'm being sarcastic if you can't see my face. Sorry, I'm bad at flipping this. Okay, so let's go on to the next story, shall we?
Yep. Speaking of Trump, Trump's CPAC address called a festival of toxic masculinity.
Yes. This I love this because it's almost like she's advertising our show for us.
That's true.
Fantastic. New York Times
and
editor...
everybody's going to watch search for toxic masculinity.
Yeah, and hopefully they'll find us. Yeah. New York Times editorial board calls Trump's... Now, this is in Daily Caller. New York Times editorial board member calls Trump's CPAC address a festival of toxic masculinity. It's unbelievable, really, what these people will say. I mean, they just... I honestly think that they're sort of like told what to say, and they just kind of go with it. And then the attacks, they get these trending attacks like this toxic masculinity festival of time. It's so ridiculous. It's such an infantile thing, right? Like it's basically name calling. The left has been reduced to name calling. I posted this tweet today. It said, what did I say? I said something like, if you're a man who thinks you're a woman, you're insane, right? Which I actually believe that. Now, if you're a man who wants to dress like a woman, I don't necessarily think you're insane. I think whatever, it's a little weird, but okay. But this claim that actually I'm a woman inside, that's insane. You have to be mentally ill to believe that, because you're not a woman. You're a man. You're born a man. You're a man. That's it. That's what I think. Okay? So that's what I posted. And this got quite a lot of hits, and it got quite a lot of attention amongst these sort of like trolls that either they're trans people or they're people who want to defend the trans community. And so one of these trans troll people wrote something about, oh, you're just saying that because you have a tiny penis. like that's a weird attack. That's a weird thing. And then somebody else wrote it, and somebody else, and I was just like, I really wanted to write back, kind of clever jokes like, how did you know? Stuff like that. But or just scream, it's normal size, which I think that like the desperate insistence that you're normal size is kind of funny, but as opposed to huge, which you would expect people to normally say. So I wanted to write stuff like this back, but I thought, you know what, let's just like let them do their harassing sort of trolly stuff. But it was weird. Oh, hello. It was bizarre. It was like this had become like a thing that is said. This is like a trend. Like if there's a trans person, do you want to switch over to the cat?
Yeah, you can turn on the camera on me.
But this has become, I don't want to track from the message real quick. This has become a kind of a trend now that if somebody attacks trans people, you say they have a tiny penis. That's what you do. It's this bizarre kind of infantile, childish response that people have. But it's kind of funny. I mean, I think it's kind of funny. I'm sure there's some people who would be actually, upset by this kind of harassment. But I think it's hilarious, actually. But it's bizarre to me. It's bizarre that this is the kind of thing. So anyway, another thing that they do is this thing, toxic masculinity. Which is why I named the show this, right? Because I thought it was a good, it was a funny thing for them to attack us with. Mara Gay, a New York Times editorial board member, said Monday that former President Donald Trump's speech was a festival of toxic masculinity. It's hard to miss the fact that Trumpism has won. And it's amazing as a woman watching that footage because it really is just like a festival of toxic masculinity. Gay said on MSNBC's Morning Joe. Oh, I wish I could play the clip.
Chris, the cat is trying to be on camera.
Oh, you want me to switch over to you? All right, so this is Valeria and our cat, Aston. Everybody's asking for more cat on the show, so there you go. That's our cat. You can go get snacks and just put him on the couch next to you.
I think he's not interested in snacks.
All right. Let's see here. But then at the end, what was really funny was that she writes, and this is the bit that's a bit like you have a small penis thing, right? So she says, Gay said all the men who spoke before the former president, quote, were essentially bragging about how they got owned by Trump. Right? Like, she okay. Gosh, where is it that she wrote about this? I don't know. Basically, she's trying to say that, like, everybody except for Trump. Oh, here it is. Gay says Trump was gleefully talking about bragging about how he owns the Republican Party. I don't think he really said that, first of all. But secondly, this idea that other people in the party, I watched some of those speeches. I watched some of the people speak at CPAC. I never heard anybody say, yay, I play second fiddle to Trump. I'm like, I'm marching in Trump's army and I'm one of his good pet soldiers. No, nobody says that. I think every conservative who has any kind of voice thinks that to some degree we're trying to lead the troops toward a better place. And a lot of us do think that Trump is the best person we have right now to lead the party. But like Democrats are following Biden. I don't know how that's better. Anytime you have a head of the party, somebody who's in charge of the party, you guys, to some degree, you're following the lead of that person. It's a weird insult, but it is this sort of petty kind of thing. They're essentially bragging about how they got owned by Trump. What she's saying here is just petty, spiteful, vindictive nastiness. it's nothing like anything like reality. It's bizarre.
Well, there's another criticism. There was a golden statue, the Trump's golden statue,
Yeah.
and everybody was taking picture with it, and the left starts saying, "Oh, they created an idol." Isn't it what against?
Where is this?
It's well, I saw the picture of a golden statue of Trump and Candace Owens taking picture next to it. I think it was at CPAC.
You know,
I'm not
I would
sure.
say this. You could make that claim that it's like a false idol and you shouldn't be, admiring it and that sort of stuff. If you're actually worshiping it as a god, like I have like a toy Aston Martin, right, little car that I bought, an antique, and I don't, and I like it. It's kind of a fun little decorative thing. I don't really have it out, but the thing is, I don't worship that little toy as a god. I have a picture of Reagan up here on the wall, and I forgot to put that light on. But and I admire Reagan, but I don't worship him as a god. You can have images of people up that you admire, and it's not a false idol unless you worship it as a god. No comment? I switched to your camera, so you have to say
Well-
something now.
Well, the left is exaggerating everything.
Of course, yeah. It's all this kind of slanderous. It's whatever they can say to be cruel. Do you want to move on to the next story?
Yeah.
Next story. I like talking like that into the mic. Let's just talk like this the rest of the show. That's not.
Alyssa Milano floats CPAC Nazi conspiracy theory, calls for boycott of Hyatt. Hyatt?
Hyatt is some.
I know
It's
it's
a
a
hotel
hotel
chain.
chain, yeah, but how do you pronounce it?
Yeah, Hyatt.
Hyatt. Okay.
Okay, so Alyssa Milano floats. This is I love this story. I love this story. All the stories today are great. They're so funny. Okay, poor Alyssa Milano. She used to be admired by men everywhere. Okay, so it took me a long time to figure this out. Do you see it? Do you see the Nordic rune that's apparently supposed to have some kind of loose association with Nazis? Do you see where it is in the CPAC thing? Should I zoom in?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I can't really see anything.
All right, let me try to zoom in here. Okay, whoa, that's a little maybe too much. Do you see it? So this is the rune.
Ah, the shape of the stage.
Yes, the shape of the stage. It took me forever to figure that out. It's like, where's Waldo? I'm sitting there or where's Wally if you're British? And I'm trying to find the stupid
Was
thing.
I faster than you?
Oh yeah, you were way faster than me. But I zoomed in for you, so
Okay.
I'm going to blame it on the zooming in. All right, so let's just read some of this story because it is just too funny. Alyssa Milano floats CPAC Nazi conspiracy theory, calls for boycott of Hyatt. Actress and left-wing activist Alyssa Milano floated a Nazi conspiracy theory directed toward the organizers of CPAC, suggesting that they deliberately fashioned the main stage to match the shape of a Nazi symbol. First of all, I want to say this is not a Nazi symbol. Okay, this is a Nordic rune that the
Okay.
Nazi used,
Good morning.
for some of their soldiers in an obscure way that nobody knows about at all, unless people dig in and find this stuff. Actress and left. Okay, this is the stage at CPAC. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Milano wrote in an outraged post to her 2.9 million Twitter followers, which I'm imagining that at least 2 million of them are there to laugh at her. Before tagging Hyatt, where the political convention took place. Hyatt, is this what's happening in your building? Ted Cruz, you stood on this stage. Oh, the outrage just kills me. All right, let's see here. Her conspiracy theory caught fire on social media, drawing remarks from filmmaker Morgan J. Freeman, not Morgan Freeman, the actor. Okay, Morgan Freeman, the actor, awesome dude. This guy, total douche. Okay. And Naral, Naral president, Elise Hogue. I don't know. Let's see here. Elise Hogue writes, the CPAC stage resembles a known SS Nazi insignia. Not known to me. I never. Do you associate this rune with Nazis in Russia, Valeria?
No, I do not.
No, you know who does? Nobody. That's who. That's who.
But what does it
associates-
actually mean? I see the pictures.
Oh, yeah. Let's look. You want to look at that?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what it means. This is little Russian root. Oh. They just crack me up, these leftists. All right. This is the Odal rune, often used in place of the swastika. The Odal rune was used by the Waffen. Austin, don't make me murder you. All right. The Waffen SS during World War II, used by the National Socialist Movement. Look at
Wow.
this. This is hilarious. Ooh, that's actually pretty clever.
That's a good graphic design.
Yeah, I'm impressed. The leftist
Austin,
lunatics have done something quite
Okay.
clever there.
stop doing that.
Let's keep reading. Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union, he's the guy that organizes CPAC, he dismissed the conspiracy theories as both outrageous and slanderous, as they absolutely are. Stage design conspiracies are outrageous and slanderous. We have a long-standing commitment to the Jewish community. I mean, that is a thing about Matt Schlapp and CPAC and all that stuff. Larry's trying to get treats for the cat. Most conservatives that I'm aware of aren't anti-Semitic in any way whatsoever. In fact, you know, the conservative platform supports Israel and, you know, the Jewish community generally. There is this bizarre thing where Jews in America tend to vote Democrat, and that irritates me a little bit. That's the one problem I have with Jews in America as a group, is they vote Democrat. And so the Jewish people that I've met who are like strong Democrats are essentially atheists. In my experience, most of the strong, hardcore, left-wing Jewish people are actually atheists. They say they're Jewish because they're culturally Jewish, but they're not really Jewish. And then people from like Israel and more people who are sort of practicing Jewish, they are often Trump supporters. That's my experience. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not actually friends with some atheist Jews who will vote Democrat. I am, and you know, sorry, I'm friends with leftists. some, even though they're crazy and they. But you know what? People are so easily manipulated, and they're so low information that some people are good people, and they are genuinely tricked by the media. But anyway, so that's it for that story. I think that is one of the most fun stories so far of 2021. The Nazi stage at CPAC. I just love that. Anyway, let's move on to the next story.
Well, there's a couple comments.
Oh, you want to read the comments?
JC,
Let's hear
I'm
it.
Jewish and I've never voted Democrats.
Hey.
There's another comment.
Are you
Boxy,
actually Jewish, or are you an
Punch.
atheist Jewish?
I never heard of Jews voting Democrats. Look at Ben Shapiro. I think you mentioned like atheist Jewish, but Austin, stop it. Shh.
Yes.
Stop. But actual like religious Jewish people, they are Republicans.
Yeah. Religious Jews that I know are Republican, and atheist Jews that I know tend to be Democrat. Although I do have a good friend who is an atheist Jewish, and he's a Republican as well. But he didn't used to be. He used to be very hard left, and he's moved over. He was actually he's actually Elijah Schaefer from Slightly Offensive. It's his producer, Todd Siegel. Good guy.
Okay. Next.
His ex-producer. They don't work together anymore. Yeah, next story. Let's do it.
4 Democrats governors issued similar nursing home policies to Andrew Cuomo's.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so this is a kind of a critical story. Let's have a look here. So the reason I wanted to bring this story up actually isn't because of the story itself. It's because this sort of a little bit supports a point that I made in a previous episode of the show. When they were talking about how Whitmer put COVID patients into nursing homes, and I hadn't actually heard that. And we know that they did that in Pennsylvania because of Richard Levine, now Rachel Levine, the dude that pretends to be a woman who now works for Biden's administration. We know that guy took his own mom out of the nursing homes after putting COVID patients in the nursing homes. We know about Cuomo, obviously, and now we know about Whitmer. So when the Whitmer thing came out, it was like, oh, crap, you know, like, it looks like the Democrats are all sort of taking their marching orders from someone, you know, some nexus point, some central authority that's telling them what to do. And they were obviously all told to do this. And so that was my theory, right? I positioned that proposed that theory. And now we see that the New Jersey governor also did that. Now, this may have been known by people in New Jersey, but I wasn't aware of it. So I read as much as I can, news, you miss some things. I didn't actually realize that the mayor or the governor of New Jersey also did this.
He's under the bed.
Oh, he's under the bed. I can't kill him when he's under the bed because I can't get to him.
Well, he was patient for quite a long time, so I kind of surprised.
Yeah. Okay. I can't stand up and move around because I'm in my bike shorts. I look funny.
So.
Come on, move. Yeah, go on. You want to speak to him?
Who was those governors for?
Oh, yeah. So it's let's go ahead and have a look here. Sorry, guys. The cat is. Trying to get him to be quiet. I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna happen. All right. So it's Michigan, California, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. So we're one of them.
Mm-hmm. Surprising.
And actually, I don't think I knew that either. I think I'd heard some kind of rumor about that or something like that, but I hadn't known that for sure. So we've got. Oh my God! Seriously? Can
I what?
I don't know. Get like the feather thing or something and put them in the. Yeah, so we've got the New Jersey governor now, and Gavin Newsom. I don't know. Did you guys know Gavin Newsom was doing the thing with the COVID, putting the COVID patients in the nursing homes? I think I had heard.
Well,
that.
I didn't hear that.
I think I'd heard about it, but it wasn't like big news or anything like that, so I'd kind of forgotten. I knew Pennsylvania, New York, and then I heard about Whitmer.
Mm-hmm.
But now we've got New Jersey and California, so that's actually 5. Yeah, so it's Cuomo and 5 other states that are far left. And my guess is that it's probably actually more than that. They just haven't figured that out. And what I would like to know is who told them to do that, who advised them to do that, because I have a suspicion, and I've talked about this in a lot of my videos, that there is a kind of system of like control on the left that you don't really get on the right. Which it may be a little bit more nefarious with like leverage and, people who are like blackmailing each other and stuff like that. Or it may be a little bit more, the standard kind of stuff like, I'm going to help you out politically if you do what I ask, that kind of thing. I think it may be a combination of that stuff. But in one of my recent videos, I posted about all of this lower level, like local and state level crime that was happening. People taking bribes and things like this, politicians. And I can't help but to think, because it's so pervasive on the left, that this is somehow sanctioned by more important politicians on the left that say, look, if you do this, you're in our club, you can make some money, we'll protect you, that kind of thing, right? So everybody's protecting each other, but everybody's also kind of controlling each other. There's a system of control, there's a network of control. I think the left basically operates like the mafia. That's how I think that the left operates. And people are going to say I'm crazy, whatever. Obviously it's speculation. I don't have hard evidence to support that. But it seems like that with all the arrests that I've seen, that I've researched, and then something like this comes up where they basically all just take the advice of some central authority, because there's just no way these governors came up with this idea all on their own. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put COVID patients in the nursing homes. Call Governor Whitmer. Hey, Governor Whitmer, I got this idea. Oh my gosh, you thought that same thing? Holy crap, that's so crazy. No, they didn't all think of it independently. Somebody told them to do this, that this was a good idea. And now I don't know why they're not throwing this other person under the bus, or whoever it is that told them. Whoever told them to do this must be more powerful than they are, and they have to protect them. But anyway, that's my thought. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but what I would like to say is, Valeria, do you have any thoughts on this?
I don't. I was playing with the cat, so he can stay silent.
Okay.
So
Well,
please
if
forgive
you want,
me.
you can put him in the. No? All right. Well, until then, let's move on to the next story.
Well, I think that was the last
Oh, was it the last story?
story.
Oh, easy peasy. I thought it was going to actually take longer than that. We're almost supposed to be almost done, but let's go a little bit over time today. Why don't we start to take audience questions? Questions and comments. If you guys want to say anything about the news of the day, let's hear.
Why are you killing the cat, Chris?
Huh?
Why are you killing the cat? JC asking.
Well, that's a silly question. I'm not actually going to kill the cat. Read a sensible question.
Well, let's wait for...
Evelyn Ziegler writes, Mr. Reagan, how are you surviving California? I actually going to throw this to Valerio because I'll tell you what, I want to leave. We have the option to move to Hawaii, which is also very far left, which is horrible. We have the option to move to Oregon. We could potentially move to D.C. We could potentially move to Florida. But Valeria wants to stay in California because she works in Hollywood and she enjoys her job. So, but Valeria, how are you surviving in California?
Well, I'm doing good.
Yeah. It's actually a lot easier for us, I think, because I work from home. Valeria has a job working on movie sets and TV shows, and it's actually kind of fun work. I've done exactly what she's doing.
I don't mind giving up this job and move somewhere, Florida or Texas.
Right.
But you're talking about Hawaii, DC, and Oregon.
Yeah, I mean, we could definitely move to Hawaii or to Florida.
I do not want to live in Hawaii because it's an island and it's small. I don't feel comfortable. Yeah. Good for vacation, awesome. No, I don't want to live there.
Well, we'll figure something out. We're probably going to start traveling a bit internationally once Valeria is able to do that. But yeah. Anything else? Let's see here.
Does Valeria have a sister who is single? Guys, not this question again. I do not have a sister. I have a cousin.
And she's 16. Let's not go there again. Let's see here. Jeff Beal writes, libs are everywhere. Yeah, that's one of the problems. Jonathan Gouldman says, come to Florida. I grew up in California. When I moved to Florida, things got much better. Now, so I used to live in Florida, actually. I went to school at University of Miami. And one thing I really don't like is the it's kind of swampy. So it gets very, very humid. Mm-hmm. And I feel like and maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm just like dreaming about this. But like it seemed as if there was so much vegetation that things were rotting a lot. Like you would always smell vegetation that was decomposing or like a dead gator on the road or something like that. And there was always this like kind of smell of things decaying and maybe that was just in like Miami where I lived.
Chris, if choosing between California when there is in our area smell like homeless people urine marijuana and swampy plant in Florida, I choose Florida.
Okay, you make a good point. You make a good point.
Thank you.
You make a good point. Okay, I would rather smell a dying alligator than a dying homeless person who smells like human feces for sure. Anything else?
Mark asking, would those other governors who done this come off looking like such a moron as Cuomo on TV though?
I could not understand what you just said.
Me neither. Okay. So Mark's asking, would those other governors who've done this come off looking like such a moron as Cuomo on TV? And I do not know how to pronounce a last word. Though? Thoy, Thoug.
Though, yeah, though.
Yeah, though, okay.
I can't see the comment and I can't understand what you're saying, so we're going to move on to the next question.
Sorry, guys.
What do you think the probability of Trump DeSantis 2024? Oh, that's a good question, actually. I like that question because DeSantis is kicking butt, man. That guy's a superstar. It could be Trump DeSantis. It could be. Did you guys watch the Kristi Noem is her name, right? From South Dakota. Oh man, her speech was so awesome. I mean, she's got that kind of Mike Pence like austerity. You know, she's austerity. That's not the word. What is the word? I don't know. She's got like a sort of dignified composure. I know a lot of people are pissed off at Mike Pence. I'm not as pissed off at Mike Pence as most people are. I think Mike Pence is a good guy. But Kristi Noem is pretty awesome. I mean, her speech was great. She was like, a lot of people don't know this, but South Dakota is the only state in which we didn't close a single business. And I was like, I didn't know that. I love Kristi Noem. I mean, not only is she got this sort of like dignified composure about her, not only is she like super right wing and really cool, she's also beautiful. Like, how do you have all that in one person? And she's like a politician, you know. I mean, she's perfect. She's freaking perfect. If he doesn't bring her, but I do like DeSantis. DeSantis kicks ass, man. Matt Gaetz also a good option. It could be DeSantis Trump. I don't know about that. I think you mean backwards. Trump DeSantis or DeSantis Kristi Noem. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a ways away. So who knows what Trump will decide in the meantime. I certainly hope Trump runs. I certainly hope he's like, you know, just as cognitive as he is today, because like, I mean, he's sharp. I mean, especially if you put him up against Biden. I mean, it's pretty funny. See here. Oh, somebody wrote in all caps. That makes it easy. Laura de Laguna writes, can you talk about the Canadian hotels not letting people leave if they have COVID? I actually didn't know about that. Well, I'm going to have to look that up, I guess. Thank you. You're providing me some news that I was unaware of. I hadn't read that article. I have to do, like, a lot of times during the day, you know, obviously I prepare for these live streams, but I'm also researching, writing, and editing stuff for Mr. Reagan. And a lot of times when I'm doing that, I don't have really time to just peruse the news. You know, obviously on some days I'm looking at the news, I'm catching up on the news, but then other days I'm really heavily doing, you know, deep dive research into a very specific thing. And if I'm doing a lot of research on that, it's yeah, I just don't have time to look at the news all the time. So I'm not aware of the Canadian hotels. Let's see here. Anything else, John? Nope.
Oh. The same question as you didn't understand, that you didn't understand. One more time.
I think Valeria was distracted texting her other boyfriend.
See my eye roll? See?
Yeah, this is her.
Like
this is the famous Valeria eye roll, you guys. She does this. She does this to me at least once a day.
Okay.
With absolute
Mark,
disgust.
One more time. Same question. The point was regarding the last story. Was Governor Cuomo chosen as the poor decision maker because of how moronic he comes off on TV?
Oh, you mean why was he picked out as being?
I think out of those 5,
right, as being the one to focus on for having put people in.
Yeah.
I think it has more to do with his profile, like he's very high profile, and also his willingness to sort of attack Trump for not being a good leader. There's a lot of this, you know, obviously if you got 5 people doing the same bad thing, but one of them is super high profile, you're not really going to focus on all 5. You're going to focus on the most high profile person. And especially if they're attacking you. So I think that's kind of how it played out. Jeff Beal writes, Turth Volume 2. I mean, I have to make... So the whole Turth thing, by the way, guys, if you're unaware, I made a video about the planet Turth. I'll switch over to Valeria since the cat's there. The planet Turth, because, you know, you're not allowed on YouTube, you're not allowed to talk about... You're not allowed to talk about election stuff. You know, if you don't believe the election was perfectly fair, you know, we're not allowed to talk about it. So I invented this planet Turth, and I made a video about that. So I will certainly probably, I imagine at some point I'll have to do another video on it, and we'll somebody's offering to help me find new stories for free. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, I have somebody who finds my stories for me, and they are amazing, and I love her to death, and yeah, so she's working for me now, but she finds stories every single day, and she does a great job, and we have a kind of understanding about where to find the stories, and I think she's doing a fantastic job. Certainly, she actually gives me way more. Come on here. She actually gives me way more stories than I need every day, and then I pick the ones that I like. So she's done a great job for me so far. Why is Chris so mean to Valeria?
Yeah.
Am I mean to you, darling?
Sometimes.
Are you mean to me?
Yes. all the time.
Not even a question. Yeah, no, I don't think we're mean to each other. We tease each other a little bit, but I actually think, honestly, like, Valeria didn't date a ton of guys before me. She had some boyfriends, but I had a lot of what is this? What is this? One boyfriend? That's not true. You dated some of the guys, but I had lots and lots of girlfriends. I'm much older than Valeria.
There you go, guys. There you go again. Last episode was like zero talking about exes and girls. Now finally, I thought, Chris, you like stop talking about your exes, and
This
I
is
was
not my fault.
so upset.
This
like,
is not
Chris,
my fault.
how is it possible? The whole episode without mentioning your exes.
I am trying.
And here you go.
I'm trying to say
Here you go.
that in contrast to previous relationships that I've had, we're actually fantastic. I think that one thing that you should be able to do as a couple is you should be able to tease each other a little bit and to laugh about that. If you can't make fun of each other a little bit and then laugh it off and realize you love each other and everything's good, then your relationship might have issues. I don't know. What's your take on that, Darling?
So,
What?
do you pay Valeria $15 an hour?
I actually I don't. You don't have a salary of any kind, do you? Should we set something up?
No, I think
No?
I'm good.
Yeah, we both kind
I'm
of.
a volunteer. Volunteer.
Yeah, we should probably have some kind of structure to it. Actually, now that I think about it. But what do you think about the whole idea of
All my exes lives in Texas.
that's a common thing in America? So, what do you think of this idea? Stop reading. Stop reading. Look at me. Look at me.
I like
Ice here.
what
Ice here, babe. Hey, pay attention. What do you think of this idea that we can kind of be mean to each other and tease each other a little bit, but we love each other at the end of the day? So it's, I mean, I think that's healthy relationship. What are your thoughts?
It's healthy, yeah, if you're not beating each other in the end of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah. I did wake up with a bruise this morning. Valeria walked up. I was in bed. She had just got actually back from work because I couldn't sleep last night. So she comes to the bed and she's looking at my arm. She's like, "Why do you have a giant bruise on your arm?" And because I had just woken up, I was a little bit I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I have no idea. It was really weird, but I had gotten an injection at the doctor the other day, and he actually had to do it in two places, and so that was the first place, and he couldn't get the vein, so he kept stabbing me, and so it ended up being a bruise. That's what happened.
I have to read because that's how.
Oh no, I'm not being critical.
questions
Did you
and
think me
funny
just looking at
comments.
you was like, good Lord, folks, this is clearly an abusive relationship. I look over at her and she's like, this is my job to read. Sorry, I wasn't trying to snap at you earlier. I just, in that one moment, I wanted you to look at me. It's not all the time. Anyway, what's going on? We got some more comments or questions that are funny or charming? Darling? Yeah, there's the cat, guys.
Cat is distracting me. He's so handsome.
Are we all done?
I think we are.
All right, folks, we are done, and I'll leave it on an image of the cat and my beautiful wife. And you guys have a lovely Monday. I thought this was a pretty good show, and I will see you guys tomorrow. You gonna say anything?
Well, he's masculine and I'm toxic. Together we are toxic masculinity.
That's right. Together we are toxic masculinity. All right, goodbye, guys. Have a good. Is this it? Yeah. Have a good Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.